stand at the edge of the water. Find that place inside your mind where the sand is cool and slightly damp beneath the soles of your feet, where the grains press into your skin like tiny cold coins. The sun has already slipped beneath the horizon, and the sky is stained in bruised shades of purple and tarnished copper, the last traces of daylight bleeding out across the clouds. The ocean stretches before you, black and silver and endless, reaching toward a horizon that seems to curve away from you in every direction. Listen to the rhythm of it. The long, slow exhale of waves sliding up the beach. The pause. That held breath. And then the gentle pull back, the water retreating with a soft hiss across the sand. It sounds like breathing. It sounds like something vast and patient, something ancient and alive, waiting for you to come closer. Now step in. The water is cold at first, a shock that climbs your ankles and tightens the skin across your shins. And then it is not cold at all, just different, just the ocean accepting you into itself. You wade out until the sand drops away beneath your feet, and suddenly you are floating, weightless, suspended in the strange neutral space between the sky above and the darkness below. The last light of the sun fades. The stars emerge one by one, shy at first, then insistent, filling the sky with a field of tiny white fires. Their reflections appear beneath you in the still water, so that you are drifting through a galaxy with no clear boundary between up and down. You take a breath. You hold it. You dive. The first 10 meters are familiar, blue fading to indigo. The pressure gentle against your ears, a soft squeeze that reminds you of depth. Shafts of pale light filter down from the surface above, growing fainter with each meter you descend, thinning like the memory of something you once knew but can no longer quite recall. Then the blue disappears entirely. You have entered the twilight zone, the mesopelagic, where the last whispers of sunlight dissolve into permanent dusk. The water is cold here, not painfully so, but insistent, pressing against your body from every direction, reminding you that you are a visitor in a place that was not made for visitors. You keep sinking. At 200 meters, you pass into true darkness, the midnight zone. No light has touched this water in your lifetime, or in your grandmother's lifetime, or in the lifetime of your entire species. You are suspended in a blackness so complete that you cannot tell if your eyes are open or closed. There is no difference. The darkness is the same inside and out. And then movement. Something passes beneath you. Not quickly, slowly, deliberately, like a cloud drifting across a night sky. You feel it before you see it. A displacement of water, a pressure wave rolling up from below, and then a shape materializes out of the dark. Enormous, graceful, impossibly large, a blue whale, 30 meters from rostrum to fluke, 200 metric tons of muscle and bone and blubber. Its eye, small for its body, roughly the size of a grapefruit, catches a glint of bioluminescence and seems to look at you as it passes. Its heart is beating somewhere inside that cathedral of living flesh, slow and steady once every 10 seconds. You could fall asleep between the beats. The whale passes. Its tail rises and falls once, a single massive stroke pushing it forward into the dark, and then it is gone. You are alone again. This is the modern ocean. 70% of the Earth's surface, the largest habitat on the planet, home to more biomass than all the continents combined. And yet, if you were to drift through its open waters for days on end, you might not see anything larger than a jellyfish. The ocean is vast. The ocean is deep. And the ocean, by the standards of its own extraordinary history, is almost empty. That blue whale you just saw is the largest animal that has ever existed, larger than any dinosaur. Larger than any fish, any reptile, any creature that has ever drawn breath or filtered oxygen through gills. In the 4 billion year history of life on Earth, nothing has ever matched it for sheer physical size. And it is alone. Not literally alone. There are perhaps 25,000 blue whales scattered across the world's oceans today, up from a low of maybe 5,000 in the 1960s after industrial whaling nearly erased them from existence, but alone in the sense that matters here. Alone at the top. The only true giant left in a world that used to be crowded with them. Rewind the clock. Not by thousands of years. That barely registers in the life of the ocean, not even by millions. Go back tens of millions of years, hundreds of millions, 500 million years into the deep past. The water you are floating in looks different now. It smells different, it tastes different, and it is full of things that would terrify you. 10 million years ago, a blue whale swimming in these waters would not have been safe. Hunting alongside it, or perhaps hunting it, was Leviathan melvilli, a sperm whale the length of a city bus with functional teeth in both its upper and lower jaws, each one the size of a wine bottle. Leviathan did not filter krill. Leviathan ate other whales. It shared these waters with Otodus megalodon, a shark that recent studies suggest could reach 24 meters in length. Megalodon's jaws could open wide enough to swallow a great white shark whole without touching the sides. Go back further still. 66 million years ago, before the asteroid, the oceans belonged to the mosasaurs. Mosasaurus hoffmanni stretched 17 meters with a skull built for crushing bone and a jaw that unhinged like a snake's, allowing it to swallow prey far larger than you might expect. It shared the water with Elasmosaurus, whose neck alone measured 7 meters, supported by 71 vertebrae, more than any animal before or since. Further still. 370 million years ago, before the dinosaurs existed, before reptiles had returned to the sea, the apex predator of the ocean was Dunkleosteus, a 4-meter armored fish with no teeth at all, just self-sharpening blades of bone that could bite through anything alive. Its jaws opened and closed in 20 milliseconds, half the time it takes you to blink. And 500 million years ago, in the Cambrian seas, the terror of the ocean floor was Anomalocaris, only 60 centimeters long. But in a world where everything else was measured in millimeters, it was a colossus. It had compound eyes with 16,000 individual lenses and a circular mouth that worked like a mechanical crusher. Every era had its monsters. Every age had its apex predators, its ocean giants, its rulers of the deep. The names changed. The body plans changed. Armor gave way to speed. Gills gave way to lungs. Teeth gave way to baleen. But the giants kept coming. And then, one by one, they stopped. This is the question that will carry us through the night. Why did the ocean spend 500 million years building giants? What was it about the water, the physics, the chemistry, the evolutionary pressures of the deep that kept pushing life toward enormous size? And why, when humans finally arrived on the scene, did we find an ocean that had largely emptied itself of its most magnificent inhabitants? The blue whale is still here. A few species of large sharks remain. The giant squid lurks in the deep, but the megalodon is gone. The mosasaurs are fossils. The armored fish of the Devonian exist only as fragments in museum drawers. The ocean that once teemed with monsters now drifts in a kind of quiet aftermath, like a grand ballroom after the guests have gone home and the music has stopped. Where did they go? What killed them? And could they ever come back? Before we meet the first giants, we need to understand why they existed at all. This is not a trivial question. On land, giants are rare. The largest elephant that ever lived, Paleoloxodon pneumaticus, weighed perhaps 22 tons. The heaviest dinosaur, Argentinosaurus, may have reached 70. These are impressive numbers, but they represent hard limits. On land, size has a ceiling, and that ceiling is made of mathematics. The ocean does not have the same ceiling. A blue whale weighs 200 tons, nearly 3 times the heaviest dinosaur, and it moves through the water with a grace that no land animal of comparable mass could ever hope to achieve. The ocean is a factory for giants, and to understand why, You need to understand 3 laws of physics that govern everything that swims. The first law is the oldest. Archimedes discovered it in a bathtub in Syracuse 22 centuries ago. Drop something into water and the water pushes back. This is buoyancy. The upward force exerted by a fluid on any object submerged in it, equal to the weight of the fluid displaced. It sounds simple because it is simple. One of those rare physical principles that can be stated in a single sentence and applied to everything from bath toys to nuclear submarines. For life, buoyancy changes everything. On land, you fight gravity with every step you take. Your bones exist primarily to hold you up. Your muscles burn energy just keeping you vertical. An elephant spends roughly a quarter of its total body mass on skeleton alone. Thick, dense pillar-like legs that turn its body into a walking cathedral of structural engineering. If you scaled an elephant up to the size of a blue whale, its legs would snap like dry twigs. The bones simply cannot get strong enough fast enough to keep pace with the increasing mass. This is the square-cube law, and it is the fundamental reason that true giants do not walk the earth. When you double the height of an animal, you multiply its volume and therefore its weight by 8. But its cross-sectional area, the measure of structural strength, only multiplies by 4. The animal gets heavier faster than it gets stronger. At some point, the math catches up. The legs cannot support the body. The heart cannot pump blood to the brain. The lungs cannot absorb enough oxygen to fuel the metabolism. Land animals hit this wall somewhere between 50 and 100 tons, depending on the specifics of body plan. No land animal has ever crossed it. In the water, the wall simply disappears. Submerge yourself, and you become effectively weightless. The water holds you up. Your skeleton no longer needs to wage a constant war against gravity. It can serve other purposes entirely, anchoring muscles, protecting organs, providing attachment points for fins. A blue whale's skeleton accounts for only about 15% of its body mass. The rest is muscle, blubber, and the vast machinery of the largest metabolism on Earth. Buoyancy does not merely permit giants, it invites them. The physics of water says grow as large as you can. There is no structural penalty. The only limits are the ones you carry inside your own biology. The second law is colder. In 1847, a German biologist named Carl Bergmann was studying mammals across different climates when he noticed something curious. In cold regions, animals tended to be larger than their relatives in warmer areas. Polar bears were bigger than black bears. Siberian tigers outweighed their cousins in Indonesia. The pattern held across species, across continents, across millions of years of evolutionary history. Bergmann proposed an explanation, and it still carries his name today. Large animals lose heat more slowly than small ones. Heat escapes through the surface of your body, but it is generated throughout your volume. A small animal has a great deal of surface area relative to its volume. Think of a mouse, all skin and ears, radiating warmth into the night like a tiny furnace with the windows thrown open. A large animal has proportionally less surface area relative to its volume. Think of an elephant, a massive thermal battery that stays warm for hours after the sun goes down. In air, this effect is significant. In water, it is absolutely critical. Water conducts heat away from a warm body roughly 25 times faster than air does. If you are small and warm-blooded, cold water will kill you with terrifying efficiency. Your heat will bleed away faster than your metabolism can replace it. You will burn through your energy reserves in hours, shivering violently, and then you will stop shivering, and then you will die. If you are large, you have a chance. Your core stays warm because there is simply so much of it, and the warmth has such a long distance to travel before it reaches your skin and escapes into the surrounding water. A blue whale can swim in Antarctic waters that would kill an unprotected human in minutes. Its sheer mass is its insulation. This is why the largest whales are found in the coldest waters. It is why the giant squid and the colossal squid inhabit the frigid deep, not the warm shallows. Cold water does not just tolerate giants, it actively rewards them. The third law is perhaps the strangest of all. In 1932, a Swiss biologist named Max Kleiber was measuring the metabolic rates of animals ranging from mice to cattle. He expected to find that metabolism scaled linearly with body mass, that an animal 10 times heavier would burn 10 times more calories. He was wrong. Metabolism scales with body mass raised to the 3/4 power. A cow does not burn 10 times as much energy as a goat. It burns closer to 5 or 6 times as much. Pound for pound, the cow is more efficient. It extracts more value from every calorie it consumes. This relationship, now called Kleiber's law, holds across almost every animal ever measured, from bacteria to blue whales, from insects to elephants. It is one of the most robust patterns in all of biology, and no one fully understands why it exists. The math works beautifully. The underlying theory is still catching up. For giants, the implications are profound. Large animals are simply cheaper to run than small ones on a per-unit mass basis. A mouse must eat constantly, burning through food at a frantic pace just to stay alive. An elephant can go days between meals. A whale can fast for months, crossing entire oceans on stored fat because its massive body extracts energy so efficiently that it can afford to wait. In an ocean where food is patchy and unpredictable, where you might swim for weeks without encountering a dense school of fish or a swarm of krill, metabolic efficiency is survival itself. The giants are not just big because they can be. They are big because bigness works. It is a strategy, a solution to the fundamental problem of scarcity written in the mathematics of metabolism. There is one more factor, and it operates on a different scale entirely. The ocean is old. It has existed in something like its present form for over 3 billion years. Life began in the ocean. The first cells, the first multicellular organisms, the first eyes, the first jaws, the first brains. All of it happened in seawater, long before anything crawled onto land. This means the ocean has had time. Time to experiment, time to optimize, time to run the numbers on every possible body plan and find the configurations that work. Land-based ecosystems are young by comparison. Complex life did not colonize the continents until around 470 million years ago. The great age of land giants, the Mesozoic era of the dinosaurs, lasted only about 180 million years. The ocean has been producing giants for more than twice as long, with fewer interruptions and far more continuity. Evolution is a slow sculptor, and the ocean has given it the longest canvas. Put these laws together, and a picture emerges. Buoyancy removes the structural ceiling. Bergman's rule rewards size in cold water. Kleiber's law makes giants efficient. Deep time provides the raw material for evolutionary refinement. The ocean is not just a place where giants can exist. It is a place where giants are almost inevitable. The physics pushes life toward larger size the way a river pushes water downhill. Not every lineage will produce a giant. There are plenty of small fish in the sea, but the pressure is always there, a thumb on the scale, tipping the balance toward the enormous. The water around you is changing now. It is warmer, almost tropical, like bathwater left standing in the afternoon sun. The color has shifted from blue to green, thick with algae and suspended particles that drift like dust motes in a sunbeam. The seafloor below is visible, maybe 30 meters down, covered in strange mats of microbial slime that have been growing here undisturbed for 1 billion years. There are no fish here, no coral reefs, no familiar shapes of any kind. You are in the Cambrian Ocean, 540 million years ago. For most of Earth's history before this moment, life consisted of single-celled organisms and microbial mats. Quiet, slow, and unimaginably ancient. Then, around 540 million years ago, something snapped. Biologists call it the Cambrian explosion, though the word explosion is misleading. It unfolded over perhaps 20 million years, which is fast by geological standards, but slow by any human measure. In that window of time, virtually every major animal body plan that exists today appeared in the fossil record for the first time. Eyes evolved, shells hardened, legs articulated, nervous systems centralized into something that might generously be called a brain. And for the first time in the history of the planet, one animal looked at another animal and saw food. Predation had arrived. The arms race had begun. Something is moving in the murk ahead, something with eyes. The creature looks like it was assembled from spare parts by an engineer working from memory in the dark. Anomalocaris, the strange shrimp, half a meter long in a world where most animals are measured in centimeters. Two grasping appendages extend from the front of its body, curved and segmented, lined with interlocking spines that mesh together when they close like the fingers of two clasped hands. Its circular mouth sits on the underside of its head, surrounded by overlapping plates that contract like the iris of a camera or the closing of a mechanical shutter. And those compound eyes sitting on stalks, bulging outward from the head, each one containing something like 16,000 individual lenses. This is the first apex predator in the history of the Earth. When scientists first presented a reconstruction of Anomalocaris at a paleontology conference in 1972, the audience laughed. They thought it was a joke. No animal could look like this. The creature was too strange, too improbable, too alien. But Anomalocaris was real. It had swum in these waters for millions of years, and for nearly a century it had existed in the scientific literature not as one animal, but as three. Early researchers had found its grasping appendages in isolation and mistaken them for shrimp bodies. The circular mouth had been classified as a jellyfish. The body itself had been identified as a sea cucumber. It was not until 1985 that Harry Whittington, re-examining fossils from the Burgess Shale, realized the truth. Anomalocaris was proof of concept. It demonstrated that the ocean could support a large, active, visually oriented predator. Everything that came after, every shark, every mosasaur, every orca, is a descendant of that idea. The clock ticks forward. The fish are evolving. They are small now, jawless, unremarkable. They will not stay that way. Something is about to learn how to bite. The jaw evolved from gill arches, those bony supports that hold a fish's gills in place. In the ancestors of jawed fish, the frontmost gill arch migrated forward, hinged, articulated, and over millions of years became a grasping apparatus at the front of the face. Evolution often works like this. Structures built for one purpose get repurposed for another. Swim bladders become lungs, fins become legs, gill arches become jaws. The jaw changed everything. With it, you could seize prey and hold it. You could tear flesh from bone. You could crush shells. You could defend yourself with something more threatening than retreat. The Devonian period is sometimes called the Age of Fishes, but the name does not do it justice. At the top of this new world sat the placoderms, armored fish encased in interlocking plates of bone. Dunkleosteus torelli was among the most heavily armed. It reached 3 to 4 meters with self-sharpening bone blades instead of teeth. Its skull was a 4-bar linkage system that opened in 20 milliseconds, creating a vacuum that sucked prey inside faster than you could blink. The bite force reached somewhere between 4,400 and 7,400 newtons. In a world where the competition included jawless fish and soft-bodied invertebrates, it was a sledgehammer at a pillow fight. And then, the late Devonian extinction unfolded in pulses over 20 million years, erasing 75% of all species. The placoderms vanished completely, not because they were failures, but because catastrophe does not care how well adapted you are to the world that existed before. Waiting in the wings were the sharks. They had been there since the early Devonian, small and inconspicuous, overshadowed by the placoderms. When the armored fish disappeared, the sharks diversified. They replaced their teeth continuously, a conveyor belt of enamel ensuring their bite was always sharp. They became the ocean's new apex predators and have held that position in one form or another for 360 million years. And somewhere in a warm Devonian swamp, a fish was crawling out of the water on fleshy lobed fins. Its descendants would become amphibians, then reptiles, then mammals. Some of those reptiles would look at the ocean their ancestors had left behind and decide to go back. When they did, they would become the largest predators the world had ever seen. The winter of 1811 was brutal on the Dorset coast. 12-year-old Mary Anning, whose father had recently died, leaving the family in debt, was working the cliffs near Lyme Regis, pulling fossils from the limestone to sell to tourists. What she found that year was 5 meters long. It had a snout like a swordfish, teeth like a crocodile, paddles where its legs should have been, and enormous eyes adapted for hunting in deep water. She did not know what it was. Nobody did. They called it Ichthyosaurus, fish lizard. Mary Anning would spend the next 36 years pulling impossible creatures from those cliffs. She was never admitted to the Geological Society of London. Women were not allowed. She died of breast cancer at 47, still poor, still working the cliffs. The creatures she found proved that the ocean had once been ruled by monsters, and that those monsters had come from the land. The Permian extinction, 252 million years ago, was the closest life has ever come to total annihilation. 96% of all marine species vanished. After that devastation, reptiles entered the sea. The ichthyosaurs appeared within 10 million years, evolving toward marine life faster than almost any vertebrate lineage before or since. Their convergence with dolphins is uncanny. Two lineages separated by over 250 million years of evolution, arriving at nearly identical body plans. Shanosaurus sicaniensis reached 21 meters. In 2020, an 11-year-old girl named Ruby Reynolds found a jawbone on a beach in Somerset that belonged to an animal possibly rivaling the blue whale in size. They named it Ichthyotitan severnensis. 2 centuries apart, 2 children pulling dragons from the stone. The plesiosaurs solved the ocean differently, built for maneuverability rather than speed, flying through the water on 4 large flippers. Elasmosaurus had a neck so long that the first paleontologist to mount its skeleton put the skull on the wrong end, assuming it must be a tail. The mosasaurs came later, evolving from small semi-aquatic lizards, but within 20 million years, they had diversified into dozens of species across every ocean on the planet. Their secret was adaptability. They were generalists in an age of specialists, flexible enough to exploit whatever opportunities arose. Then, 66 million years ago, a rock the size of a mountain fell out of the sky. The Chicxulub impactor struck the Yucatan Peninsula at roughly 20 kilometers per second. The energy released was equivalent to billions of nuclear weapons. The mosasaurs died. The plesiosaurs died. The ammonites, which had survived 4 previous mass extinctions, died. When the dust settled, the ocean was quiet. The niches were empty. On the shores of the recovering world, small furry creatures were looking out at the waves, beginning to wonder what the water had to offer. 52 million years ago, in the shallow coastal waters of what is now Pakistan, a wolf was learning to swim. Pakicettus looked nothing like a whale, but its descendants would become the largest animals in history. The transition happened with breathtaking speed. Pakicettus gave way to Ambulocetus, the walking whale. Then Rodhocetus, whose pelvis had disconnected from its spine, freeing the tail for swimming. Then Basilosaurus, 20 meters long, fully aquatic, the first whale to reach giant size. In less than 15 million years, a dog-sized creature that caught fish in rivers had become a sea monster. This is what evolution can do when an entire ocean sits empty and waiting. In 2008, paleontologists in Peru found a skull 3 meters long with teeth the size of wine bottles. They named it Livyatan melville, a sperm whale that hunted other whales. It shared its waters with Otodus megalodon, whose revised maximum length now stands at 24 meters. For millions of years, the largest predatory shark and the largest predatory whale competed for the same prey. The Pliocene was not kind to either of them. The oceans cooled. The whales followed their food toward the poles, into waters Megalodon could not enter. Its coastal nurseries vanished as sea levels dropped. The great shark was trapped, too warm-blooded for the cold, too dependent on disappearing habitats to adapt. By 3.6 million years ago, Megalodon was gone. Could Megalodon still be alive? No. The deep ocean is cold, dark, and nutrient-poor. A 24-meter shark cannot survive on the sparse resources of the abyss. A population of giant sharks hunting whales in the open ocean would leave evidence we cannot miss. The giant is gone. What remains are teeth scattered across beaches, black and heavy and still sharp after millions of years. The death of Megalodon left a vacancy at the top that nothing filled at the same scale. And into this quieter ocean, freed from the pressure of a 24-meter predator, the baleen whales began to grow. The blue whale achieved its current size only after Megalodon disappeared. For millions of years, gigantism had been a liability. A larger whale was simply a larger target. With the apex predator gone, size became pure advantage. The monster's extinction made the Titan possible. 5 times the ocean has nearly died, 5 mass extinctions in 500 million years. Each time the giants went first, each time the ocean rebuilt itself from whatever was left, each time new giants rose to replace the old. The pattern is ancient and relentless. Why do the giants always fall? The answer begins with food. A blue whale eats 4 tons of krill per day. When food collapses, giants starve first. Their high energy requirements become a death sentence in times of scarcity. The second vulnerability is time. Large animals reproduce slowly. A blue whale takes 5 to 10 years to reach sexual maturity. It produces a single calf every 2 to 3 years. A population reduced by 99% would take centuries to recover. The third vulnerability is specialization. Evolution pushes giants toward optimization for their particular niche, and that optimization becomes a trap when the environment changes. The more perfectly adapted you are to your current world, the more vulnerable you are when that world transforms. The fourth vulnerability is rarity. Large animals are never common. The energy pyramid ensures they exist in small numbers, making them vulnerable to every disruption. We are living through the 6th extinction now. This one is not caused by asteroids or volcanoes. It is caused by us. Industrial whaling killed approximately 3 million great whales. Global shark populations have declined by 70% since 1970. The oceanic whitetip has declined by 98%. The ocean that European explorers encountered in the 16th century no longer exists. But giants are not decorative. They are functional. They move nutrients. They structure food webs. They create habitat when they die. They write history in their bones. In the Atacama Desert of Chile, the driest place on Earth, construction crews widening a highway in 2010 sliced into a low ridge and found dozens of whale skeletons laid out in parallel rows, preserved for 9 million years. They had been poisoned by harmful algal blooms, their bodies carried by currents to a shallow inlet where they were buried in sediment and frozen in time. The site, called Cerro Balena Whale Hill, is not just a graveyard, it is a record, a 40-ton timestamp documenting events that would otherwise have left no trace. This is what giants do. They record. They remember. When a whale dies in the open ocean, its body sinks. 40 tons of flesh and bone descending through the water column, falling for hours or days until it reaches the abyssal floor. Scientists call this a whale fall. A whale fall is an oasis in the desert of the deep sea. The first scavengers arrive within hours, hagfish and sleeper sharks tearing into the soft tissue. When the flesh is gone, bacteria colonize the bones, and specialized worms called osedacs bore into the remains, extracting nutrients other organisms cannot reach. A single whale fall can sustain a community for 50 to 100 years. The deep sea is dotted with these oases, forming a network of life that exists only because giants die. Whale feces fertilize the surface with iron and nitrogen, feeding phytoplankton that produce roughly half the oxygen on Earth. Scientists call this the whale pump. Before industrial whaling, when whale populations numbered in the millions, this pump operated at a scale we can barely imagine. Fewer whales means fewer whale falls, less nutrient transport, a diminished ocean running on a fraction of its former biological budget. Large predators also structure ecosystems through fear. When wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone after a 70-year absence, the elk changed their behavior. They stopped lingering in open valleys. The willows grew back. Beavers returned. The rivers changed course. The same dynamics operate in the ocean. Sharks shape the behavior of seals, which shape the fish, which shape the invertebrates, which shape the algae. Remove the sharks and the connections unravel. The system finds a new equilibrium, but it is a diminished one, a system that has lost a piece of its architecture. The fossil record tells us that giants always return, given enough time. After every mass extinction, a pulse of gigantism follows. The surviving lineages expand into vacant niches, growing larger because they can, becoming the new rulers until the next catastrophe arrives. But recovery takes millions of years. Human civilization has existed for perhaps 10,000. The whales and sharks we are protecting now are the last remnants of a system that took hundreds of millions of years to build. If we lose them, the ocean will eventually produce new giants. We will not be here to see it. 500 million years is a span of time the human mind cannot truly grasp. If you compress the history of the Earth into a single calendar year, all of human civilization would fit into the last few seconds of December 31st. The giants occupied months on that calendar. The trilobites patrolled the seafloor for nearly 300 million years. The ammonites spiraled through the water column for 350 million. The sharks have been swimming since before trees existed on land. Against this backdrop, our moment is a blink. A single heartbeat in a very long life. The ocean remembers. It remembers the crushing jaws of Dunkleosteus and the silent glide of the plesiosaurs. It remembers the shadow of Megalodon passing over the sand and the thrashing of the first whales as they learned to swim. It remembers the silence that follows the asteroids and the slow, stubborn return of life that always, always follows the silence. Remember the coelacanth. For 66 million years, we thought it was gone. We wrote its obituary in stone. We placed it in the Museum of Lost Things. But deep in the underwater canyons of the Indian Ocean, in twilight caves where humans could not go, the coelacanth was swimming slowly, breathing the water, living its life in the dark, utterly indifferent to our assumptions. The ocean holds secrets. It is vast enough to hide things. It is deep enough to offer sanctuary. We have explored less than 5% of the ocean floor. We have named only a fraction of the species that live there. Look at your own hand. The salt in your blood runs at the same concentration as the salt in the ancient ocean. The calcium in your bones was forged in the same stellar explosions that built the reefs of the Devonian. The water in your cells is the same water that once passed through the gills of a shark or supported the weight of a blue whale or fell as rain on a Jurassic forest 150 million years ago. We are not separate from this story. We are made of it. We are the ocean briefly stepping onto land, carrying the memory of the deep in our veins. When we stand on the shore and look out at the horizon, we feel a pull that is older than language, older than thought. It is the pull of home. The sun has set now. The sky is dark. The water is black and calm. The waves are a gentle rhythm, a lullaby that has been playing for 4 billion years. Inhale, exhale. Visualize the ocean at night. The surface is a mirror for the stars. Below, in the mesopelagic, the lanternfish are migrating upward, a galaxy of living lights rising to feed. Below them, the sperm whales are diving, leaving the air behind, descending into the quiet. Deeper still, past the continental shelves, past the canyons, down to the abyssal plain. Here, the water is still. The temperature hovers near freezing. The darkness is absolute, but it is not empty. If you listen closely, in the silence of your own mind, you can sense them. The ghosts of the giants, the shadows of the past, the promise of the future. They are all there, suspended in the dark water. Anomalocaris and Dunkleosteus and Megalodon and the blue whale. They are swimming together in the endless, timeless ocean of the night, drifting, weightless, at peace. The ocean remembers them all, and tonight, the ocean holds you too. Sleep now. The water is warm, the current is slow. The giants are watching over you. Good night.